Can you hear me? See, this won't flatten completely because of the tile next to it. Tile has constraints of only corner vertices. So if I remove it, it will flatten completely. That's in the minus. So I can lift it by 3.3. And if I use keep height command, I can lift it back up. I can also lift a whole section back up. See, I can keep the flat bridge, but lift the entire terrain up with the same curve, or with any curve. And it keeps the terrain, not the terrain, but the actual tile height the same. You can do this as bridges and tunnels and anything that flattens. So that I can keep this line straight and the bridge way more subtle of a slope. So now that this will only work in one direction, like that. But if you use connect mode, you can make it connect to already existing curves smoothly. any way you like. Also, the important thing to note is it's always the left bottom which you should use, or the upper line. That will determine your direction. So always remember to turn off any toggles if you're not using them. So I guess I'll just go through the entire thing. The marker just can be used as a point per vertex tool. And if you adjust the speed, you can use it to lower or raise sections at a time. Control to select what you're looking at. And the radius is how big of a bolt you make. So small, one radius is just one vertex. Same with speed. These are all work slightly differently for all the three functions. But the way I used to do terrain is just make a load of blocks and average them out at a nice speed with a big radius. Or a smaller one. Well, Amplify just makes the bulges kind of like the set, but way slower. Same radius, constructions, and speed. But it will actually won't work if you have it at 0. So go all the way up to whatever you set it. Like 40. Right mouse button goes to 40. Left mouse button exceeds that in both directions. And you can still smooth it out. So for instance, I want this to be flat. So I need all of this to be at that height. No radius for now. Just copy that. See that the terrain wants to build, but the tile has constraints only in the corners, so it will override any terrain in the middle, as long as you use the original ones, not free bend. But now I can just make a big nice curve. Starting here. Since it's not symmetrical, it won't work as nice. And it's easiest to use when there's no terrain differences to begin with. So it will start at 0. Hence the bridge will not be as nice. It's been too long. I haven't used this program. I'm getting rusty. A bit more tricky in here. Because a straight bridge will just go to one point. Maybe it's you. Can also cheat and just select the ones I want. But they should have to be equal length. So I'll have to add this as well. Nah, I forget. Keep height. There we go. Use keep height. It's nice and flat. Might even want to raise this part. Hi. Right, so I selected more vertices than I should have. So it cut off at 6 when I selected 10 over here somewhere. That was a mistake. I'll just go for 8. See what that does. Okay, that fucks up. There's nothing to keep height to. This is a bit tricky in corners. And it's too small to use profile, at least neatly. Of course you can go manually amplify it. A bigger radius, 3. That's halfway up the tile. It's not very nice though. But it is possible if you have the patience to give it a bit of a curve. So I want this to be lower. For starters. If I select the whole thing, should be easier. See what that does. Yeah, it stays. So I should have smoothed it out first. But if I don't keep the height and just go to 0, with a buggy cam, like that. Not very pretty. I could kinda cheat if I make a curve here. Say that goes to 5. About how I want it. And then I use connect from this corner down to the lower vertex here. That far. And I use this. So that will follow the steep angle and put a radius on the tile, which won't follow along the curve, but will get me started. This bridge entry complicates it a lot though. Maybe 2. Make sure all the vertices are on one plane, no connection, like that. I need one line on top of this line to connect to. Maybe one more. Not this, because this will fuck up the bridge. Connect. Now a smooth entry. But the rest is still fuckered. But I have a starting point, which is 2. Can put that from here to here. This will be a ruler, the end point. And I'll make a similar curve here. No connection because it's straight. And because the tile is original, I have this mess. can try putting in the free bend version. Repeat that. Decent curve, and because this doesn't have any restrictions, I'll try to merge this in a curve, which is also going up while turning around. This is what profiles is for. Profiles is a bit tricky. But now my start point is on this vertex, going to that, and I think it has to rotate around. Extend this down here. This end here on the second vertex. Yeah. So we'll grab that curve and try to connect it to that. Maybe to that. Nah. I don't remember if it's the other way around. Because the way this works is it copies a shape. Let's say you make a shape here. Make that. And it revolves it around. Kind of like a CAD program. But to do that on the inside, you gotta make sure you're not looking at multiple vertices, because it will sometimes go behind terrain and tiles and select something way over on the other side of the track. So let's try the opposite, concave curve. Preview looks promising. Press enter, but it's too big. And expanded. Oh, there's a curviness to it as well. If I do it at 0, it will just go straight over. So I need another point in the middle. Maybe a slight radius. P1. It's P1. That's P1. This is where trial and error comes in. That's P2, that was P1 then. Fucking P1. P1 and P2. P1. P2. Now P1 to P2. Disable that. That's a mess. There's some weird constraints on it, which I haven't been able to figure out. So most times I just improvise it by hand, load in the game, and try with the car, with sport suspension. Look for inconsistencies. And that can work, just doing it like that. Doesn't look too bad. Of course, the looks are deceiving every time. I could go to amplify it a little bit. It's fine if it's too much, because you just go back and average out. It's not really a smoothing tool per se. It takes a reference in the number you have, so it will go down to a certain point, but not below it. So left mouse button, smooth it out. What the fuck right mouse button does is a good question. Usually just fucks shit up. Now Q is mirroring. Oh, that's wrong. Very wrong. Because of the fucking bridge, that's why it's wrong. I had to put the bridge like that. here. Remember where I put the pivot, like that. And it's still a little fucked. Oh. Could be worse. Third mode and turret building. Yeah, fuck. I couldn't get the chat box to show up while recording the 3D editor, sorry. Third mode. Kodesh, you hearing? I tried showing the convex version. It's a little tricky to get the use of it. Like simply put, it will copy a profile over in a curve. This one, right? Oh, hello. For fuck's sake. Yeah, this is why numpad enter goes into 2D mode. P1. Fuck, maybe it is center. P1 into P2. And we'll look at the preview. It kind of checks out. You can increase the curviness. Fuck. Increase curve. Don't increase curviness beyond the curve you actually have in. I think all the curves are counted in vertexes. So a radius of 5 is the width of a tile. Same goes for when you're smoothing and you're averaging, etc. Fucking crashed. That's the first time it crashed for me. Okay, let's try again. Let's say I want like an arena tile. Yeah. Like that. Copy. T1 is the pivot. You think you can do all 4 at a time? I hope so. Else I'm gonna be restarting it again. That's a 3 times, not 5 because it's 5, 9, 14. Just do that. Yeah. Okay, so it will go from the first one you selected to the last one in the direction you started. It will overlap. I was hoping it wouldn't. Oh. What the closed path is, I still haven't figured out. If I go to nothing, see it will just go straight. So that's the curviness. And it will exceed that also. Yeah, 5 is nice. The one thing I did notice is the smaller you make the features, the lesser you have the resolution, and it will become more and more rough, especially to drive on. That. So let's say I don't put it all the way over here, I put it diagonally. Like that. There we go. Now this is a bigger curve, so I'll go 8. Yeah, except you see I selected some flat part, so that now it will just make a valley. I could probably just do it like that. Not fully because, you know, hypotenuse is longer than the single side. Even shorter. And do it like that. It should work. Yeah, this is hard. Ah, you see what I mean by you can just look past the terrain sometimes. Not every time. Just put it like that. Like, this is the reason why I haven't been using it. The other stuff kind of fell naturally for me because it's just numbers and curves, straight lines like on the drawing. If I do it like that. Go P2, P1. Okay, maybe it has to be that long. Maybe that was the trouble. Like that. Yeah. Okay, so same equal amount of vertices, regardless of length. P2. Radius 8 was good. Too good actually. That's better. So if I measure these always end at 20, but these are, let's just say, slightly shorter. So we should always make it a little bigger and then leave a tile or two of space. Just put it in the comments if you want to ask something. I'll check it periodically. One screen gaming does that to a man. Okay, but I demonstrated a little bit of that on the inside corner. So maybe I'll put it to use. Let's say I want it like that. Go up to 5. Smooth end so that I have some easy terrain to work with on the back. Doesn't look floppy. Get this here. And this is 7 vertices long. So I'll have to equal 7 vertices here. From about the center of the tile. Guess I go here. That's 6. Won't do. 7. Copy that. Maybe I don't even need that then. Have this 1 point. Fuck. Oh yeah, and sometimes the tiles don't work, so I can't even remove it to look. I don't know why the bug just comes randomly, but it does. There's some discoloration. I can follow that down there. To here. That's 7, that's good. Lesser curve. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, I did something. As you see, it's like a Minecraft pixelated circle. So that's why I always extend it a little bit further. It's easy to just select 0 and trim the edges off. So I think you should be able to fuck around with different heights with the third mode profile. Because that's one of the previews in when you start the editor. Something like that. Connect, and I wanna smooth entry like that. This will be the 2 tiles long, like that. See, this sets me up on a external corner, so I just use this as a template to curve this up to. Maybe even like that. Yeah. And from here, it's some manual math down to here. Same amount of vertices. And let's say to 20. Like that. No connection. These won't work on a flat terrain. Like that. So it's here to here to here. So I'll say I want the bottom to be same for now. This here. This here. This here. See what that does. Not closed. Okay, not closed is the way to go. Except it. Yeah. Does the ends very, very unneatly. So we should probably extend the flat bit. Let's say 20 here. Set that, no radius. Here. Like that. That's just 20. 30. Like that. Flat top. And I'll have more meat to cut off when I'm done. See, now that the edge is way slicker. So with this you should be able to make any skate park you want. And just like the endpoints can differ in height, the start points should be able to too. So I should be able to just copy this profile here. Make this 20 also, so there are not 20, 10. So they're all equal. Like that. And with this, if I just select the entire profile I want, yeah, see, you make a wall, and then you have that to select with the cursor. Suddenly the line is higher, because these are the lines you work with. Let's try again. So I want this to be on the same curvature but at different heights. So I keep height, which is kind of wrong because it just keeps the terrain. And I select how much I want to lift it, set height. So the entire thing is now equal but higher by 10. If I lift it even more, I take this, set height 20. Now this profile goes up here, to there, to there, and it kind of auto completes the in-betweens. About close. Close is just nasty. Supposedly it should be straight. And it is a straight vertex increase in the diagonal. Of course with CD that doesn't work on this end. But like this you should be able to make relatively precise increases to a row that's up 20 units from the ground. Yeah, I don't know. What else could there be to show? I went to shape mode. Amplify I think is the same as this one. If I do this H0. Yeah. That's just amplification. Some inverse square root of something that it calculates. Ooh. Okay, so if that's lower, it goes. Okay, so if you select height 0 and that's lower, it goes down to the ground. Oh, height 0 is the pivot then, I guess. Here. Yeah. H0 is the pivot. Uh, 1. 11. That's not 11, that's some kind of multiplication. Let's see. Copy paste, that's usual. Symmetric. Actually, I haven't used that. That might be for some of the new stuff in 3.2. Yeah, I don't know what that actually does. You though, you might be useful. Ah, there you go. The thing I should have found 50, not 50, 2 years ago. That's a 0, that's a 10, and that should be 5, yeah. 5 in equal divisions. Okay, so diagonal is neat. That's what I should have used there. Uh-huh. Yeah. Let's see how it reacts to this. It will just fill in. But it won't just fill in. Because this is, the line is below the main line now. So this is actually a hack for the connect tool. If you want a square, edge, maybe it even works like that. Okay, so lift it like that. Lift it. Okay, so this is the diagonal point. And it doesn't work if you select the corner. Okay, so it's not a corner tool, has it raised it by half at the edges. It's an internal. It's a fucking. That's what it is. It's like that. No, not quite. It's kind of a specific diagonal ramp tool, so it doesn't replace connect tool. But that is neat. I guess you know about the marker modes: addition only, exclusion only, and inversion, which always shifts. Sometimes useful. Hot dog. Good question. It spawns an ER call it. I don't know. Oh, hello. There's something else. Hold on. ER. I saw something neat. Square. Waiting for start row. That's normal. But end row. I guess that's a selective tool. No, you have to still have to select it. Let's take this curve. Start row. You can still select the corner. End row. Seems to just be a normal tool. Maybe it curves. Yeah, you can just set height on the selected pixels as well. Sometimes it's easier to go in around tiles and just set the height in this mode as well. ER. Start row, end row. Okay. No, it just stops at where you stop selecting. It's a good question. I think the ER lets you select part of your selection. So it should be easier to, well, say for instance I want to have a curve on this side. Here. If I select the whole thing and just make a curve, it will just make a curve on the selection, excluding any excluded parts. like that. So you can have a tile in the middle of your ramp, which is a neat feature sometimes. I think ER is just, see, yeah, start row as normal, but then it wants an end row. And if I do it again, it's a tool for not having to reselect. If I can actually touch it. Okay, I'm wrong. Okay, so it takes the entire row. Seems to just be a limiter to select part of your red vertices, which is neat if you have some very complex shape you want to go around the curves with. But it's limited to the width of your selection. Plus set amplify, you know all of that. Oh, no marker. What does that do though? Oh, notice the marker button before even. All right. I can put the boundaries of this bit. What the fuck? Oh yeah. Oh, you can. I was gonna ask him if he could do that. So you can change the boundaries of this thing, but it does eat up performance. Let's say 10. It's 11 vertices, not 10. Yeah, there you go. Only it does the odd numbers. Okay, that is neat. I just learned that. Yeah, just typing with the numpad. Only the numpad. except it's in green. Okay, so you can't just type in what you want. You have to. Anything else? I think I went through most of it. Is that the limit? Or is this the black magic Emo's been using? Fuck. Alright. Infinite void. I should be able to fix it then. Hey. Fuck. I just lost a fucking glass lens. Nice. Yeah, that's flattening tool. This is... Fuck, what is that again? Hold on. Oh. Okay. That's just the radius tool. How does it differ from this? Good question. In no way. Probably why I haven't used it. But it might be easier for bigger things. Is that it? Anything else you want to see? Okay. So it's a rotating tool. It should be able to. Okay, it can't change length of the curve. Okay, you need templates all the way out, all the way around. As many as possible, at least in every corner. Preferably every 8. Or every 45 degrees.